Hello everybody and welcome back to Gaming on Caffeine. My name is Isaac and we are back playing some FTB Infinity for episode 30. Now, at the end of last episode, we set up this little guy down here, our auto spawner with our blood magic altar. I had a bit of an issue with the auto spawner between the end of last episode and this episode because for whatever reason, this wireless redstone thing just decided not to work. So I came back on after like a few hours and there were like thousands of villagers here. It was absolutely ridiculous. I have no idea why this thing decided not to work, but for the time being, I've gone ahead and taken the safari net out of the auto spawner, so we shouldn't have that problem for the time being. I'll try and set up some kind of solution at some point. We might have to resort to something like we had in this room over here with like a little lever on the wall and some redstone conduits from Ender. That would be another solution that would be a bit less cool. I kind of like having the wireless redstone thing here, but if it doesn't work, then it's kind of useless having it. Anyway, on to what I want to do today. The first thing that I want to sort out are these inscribers. So, up until now, we have been trying to make all of our applied energistics stuff with these inscribers, and it is so slow and so tedious. Anyone who has ever used these things, and who also played the old version of applied energistics, will tell you how tedious these inscribers are, but the good news is that we can automate them and make them so much easier. So, between episodes, I've gone ahead and made 4 more inscribers, made 5 ME interfaces, and I've got all the presses out here, and basically what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of you, if we can, and apparently we can't with the wrench, but that's fine. We're going to get rid of both of those, we're going to move this guy, and we're going to set up something that allows us to basically request any of the processors, and the processors being the thing that we make with these guys over here, any of the processors that we want on demand. All we have to do is ask our AE system, much like we can now do with the electric engine, the geothermal generators, and all this stuff, but instead using the inscriber. So, the way that we're going to do that is, we're going to go ahead and, first of all, turn the sound up, because my gosh, that sound is very, very quiet. Let's turn that up, and we're going to throw down a couple of inscribers, like this. We're going to throw down 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, the reason we have 5 is because we're going to have 1 for silicon. 1 needs to be just to make silicon. We need 1 for the calculation press, 1 for the logic press, 1 for the engineering press, and then 1 to turn all of the circuits, these guys here, into processors. So, the first thing we're going to need to do is rotate all of these sideways. No idea why this is a thing, but for some reason, that is just going to annoy me, isn't it? For some reason, you can, why is that one the wrong way around? There we go, that's better. For some reason, you can only input and export from the sides of these things. Not quite sure why that's the case, but it is. And then we're going to go ahead and throw these interfaces on top like so. So basically, what we're going to do is over here in our pattern terminal, we're going to teach it all the patterns it needs to make all of the stuff. So for example, the first one is going to be silicon. We are going to teach it, do we have some silicon? We do. We're going to teach it that this type of silicon can make this type of silicon. Let's see, silicon goes in there, you go in there, and what we're going to do is, once this is done, might also work on making this a bit faster as well, we can do that, but basically we're going to teach you that this silicon makes this silicon, it needs to be on the processing pattern, because it's not a crafting recipe, and then we obviously need a pattern of some kind, this guy over here, thank you very much. We'll take, we need some more of those. We'll make some more in a second as we need them. Throw that in there, press encode, and that's going to get us the pattern. So basically, we're going to throw this in here like so. And now, if we were to connect this guy, this ME interface, up to the system, we are teaching it that if it sends 1 silicon to this interface, it will get one of those other silicons, the applied energistics silicon, back. And the way it's going to do that is we're going to stick an import bus on the bottom of here. So the import bus looks something like this, if you could spell it right. This guy over here, sticky piston, annihilation core, and some iron. We don't have any of the stuff we need for that thing. Jeez, we're going to need quite a few of these as well throughout the episode, because of course we need 1 for every single inscriber over on the wall here. So, let's make 1 of those, then let's get ourselves an annihilation core. If we can, we can't. Oh, it kills me inside a little bit every single time we see that. Let's go ahead and pulverize up some fluic stuff. While that's doing that, let's make ourselves another 1 of these. Thank you very much. We'll throw that just there. And then once we've got this guy, we'll go ahead, and I'll use this very end one here. We'll kind of try and set these up as we go along. And we'll throw you, and you in. And that should get us the processor that we want. Nice, nice. Okay, so this one could be the logic press. This one can be calculation. And this one can be, this one can be, wow, are they both calculation? I do not have the engineering press. There it is. Thank you very much. We'll make this one engineering. You can go in there. Thank you. And now we should be able to make ourselves some annihilation cores, and we should be able to make ourselves an import bus. Nice. And basically, this thing is going to go right about, if I can get down there, right about here, like that. And we're going to go ahead and hook that thing up with some cables, like so. Boom. So now, if we were to go ahead, this should all be connected up. I'm not actually quite sure if it is, but there's one good way to check. If we were to go ahead and type in silicon, we would see this thing here. If, oh my gosh, my keyboard went a bit wonky there. If it was right and hooked up, we would see this recipe here in the AE system. We don't. So basically what we have to do is get rid of a few of these and hook it up like this. We need one there, there, and there. That should now be in there. Silicon, it's not. Beautiful. All right, we should. I didn't think we had to do this, but oh no, wait, okay, I know why it's not hooked up, and that would be because the whole thing's not hooked up. Look at this. It's hooked up to an energy acceptor. Okay, this is a good place to kind of go from here. So, basically, once we've hooked all of these up, that's going to be a heck of a lot of channels. You may have heard me talk about it earlier in the series, to where we can only have 8 channels coming off each side of this interface if we're using the normal ME cable. Now, if we were to count here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we don't count the inscribers, which I don't think we have to do. I don't think the inscribers count, but they might. And if they do, we need a heck of a lot of channels. We need up to 15 channels, which we don't have with the 8 that we have here. So, in order to go around that, we have a few options. We could either make another controller here and kind of have a couple of sides dedicated to this little area, or we could start making some dense ME cables. So, I'm going to do that. We're going to make some dense cable. This stuff is fairly easy to make if you have the right stuff. It's some ME flux cable with some wool. Wool we are not short on at all because we have our lovely little sheep farm just out here, which should have a butt ton in. Look at that, 25 stacks of wool. Absolutely beautiful. We'll take all that stuff. We'll try and deny with the creepers. Jeez, that was not fun. And then we'll throw those into our AE system like so. And we should be able to start doing something like this. So let's take... We need a few more of those because we need enough to make one of these. Make one ME dense cable. So this could take actually a fair amount of time here. Let's make as many of those as we can and as many of these as we can. And then by extension, as many of these as we can. And I guess it's 2. Now, we are going to need a heck of a lot more than 2 if we want to be able to get anywhere. But basically, what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do right here, is set up something like this. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And I'm actually going to get rid of... I'm going to move this for the time being, which is a bit of a pain because it means we can't access... it means we can't access our stuff for a few seconds, but that's fine. And I'm going to put this thing right here, like that. That's a big cable. It's a very big cable. And we'll throw this guy back down right about there and throw all these discs back in so we have some space. Very nice. And basically, like I said, this one can now carry up to 32 channels. And what we can do is we can go ahead and set this back up like so. And obviously, this side here can only carry 8. So we can only connect 8 up to this line. But that's fine because we still have less than 8. And then what I'm going to do from there is actually go ahead and move this. And this, and this, I'm going to move that to there. So we can have 8 coming off there. That's basically, I moved it back 1 and freed up 24 more channels over here that we can bring onto this side. Now, we do need to have more dense cable, so it does have to actually be a dense cable coming kind of all the way along here if we want this to be able to hook up. So, what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to go away. I'm going to hook up I'm going to make a bunch more dense cable, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so a little while later, and we've got quite an odd setup here. So basically, what I did is I started out by making quite a few of these normal ME dense cable dash fluids. It's got a bit of a weird name, but these are dense ME cable. And then here, we kind of changed up to the dense version of the ME cable, but from Ender.io. And then it actually turned out that these were cheaper than the normal dense cable, or maybe just easier to make with what we had. So I decided to go with those instead. So Ender.io adds an ME cable and an ME dense cable, just like Applied Energistics does, but these ones work with the power cable, so you can kind of put them in the same block here. You can see in this block, we have both the power cable and an ME dense cable, and if we look at the recipe for an ME dense cable, it's just 4 normal ME cable with some conduit binder, and these normal cables are just 2 fluix crystals, a quartz fiber with some more conduit binder. Conduit binder is super easy to make, so I decided to go ahead and make the dense Ender.io cable cables as opposed to the dense applied Energistics cables. Hopefully that makes sense. I think I might have explained that a bit poorly, but hopefully you get what I mean. And so what we have is, it comes out of here. You can kind of tell how many channels are being used up by these little blue lines on here. Right now, we are completely fine on channels right here. And so it goes round, it goes round, it goes round, up to here. For some reason, the Ender IO cables do not connect to the import bus here, but we now have all of our stuff in this first sort of little inscriber ME interface and import bus setup, all connected up. So, if we were to go ahead and look in our AE system real quick, we can see that we can now craft a silicon. And if I was to go ahead and request, say, I think 1 would probably be a better idea, well, 3, like so, it will say that we're missing silicon, and that's right, because we have it on us. If I was to try that again, and this time have silicon in the system, and request, say, 3, and then start, it's going to go ahead and automatically send those over to here. Now, we probably won't use this all that much, because we don't often just need silicon, but if we were to, say, request a full processor, and we didn't have any silicon, the AE system will look around and say to itself, basically, can I make silicon? And once it realizes that it can, it will go ahead and use this automatically. So, what I'm going to do now, guys, is again, I'm going to cut away, I'm going to fill in all the rest of these, doing the same thing, import buses on the bottom, interface on the top, patterns in the top, like this one, that this one's going to have, obviously, gold, diamonds, and quartz, I think it is, for the calculation press. Might have been in the wrong order there, but I'm going to go do that, guys, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so a little while later, and it turns out we had a tiny little bit of a cabling issue. You have to be careful when mixing up the dense ME cables with the normal ME cables, and we had a little intersection where it was kind of going from dense to normal and back to dense, which resulted in us only having a total of 8 channels, and a few of these being turned off, but we've gone ahead and kind of replaced most of those things and fixed, I think, pretty much every issue. So, if we go ahead now and try and request ourselves one of these logic processors, what it should do, because we don't have any of these printed logic circuits, what it should do is make one of those first, and then go ahead and make us the actual processor. Next, start. It should throw some gold into there. It is. It's going ahead and making ourselves that logic circuit. Once that's done, because we already have the stuff in here, it should go ahead and make one of these. As soon as that's finished, it should instantly fill up with more redstone and silicon, which it didn't. It did with the redstone. I don't think we actually have any more silicon, which I think is why it stopped. Now, we could, if we wanted to, actually fix that issue, and I think we could do that by making a crafting card. Now, I have a feeling crafting cards are pretty expensive. Let's have a look here. Crafting card. Actually, not that bad. We'll make one of those, and then we'll make ourselves a crafting card. And what this should do is, if we put it into here, it should craft silicon if it knows how. So if we put that in there, that should automatically send a silicon to here, I think. Yeah, it's an export bus. That should send silicon to there. It did. It sent silicon to there, and it's going to go ahead and throw that into there. Nice! So this is going to check and see in here if there is any silicon. If there isn't, it's going to go ahead and craft some, and if it can't craft some, well, then we're in a bit of a pickle. We could, and we might do in the future, teach our system how to make silicon by pulverizing the sand in the sag mill, but for now, that's fine. So I'm going to go away, guys. I'm going to fix up this floor. I'm going to go cover everything up. I'll be back in a second to make the last thing that I want to make today. Okay, so a little while later, I've gone ahead and taught this little system how to make all of the processors from Applied Energistics. So now, we should be able to, whenever we want, as long as we have the materials, be able to request a logic processor, a calculation processor, or an engineering processor, and this should just automatically do it. So this one's going to make the logic circuit, the calculation circuit, and the engineering circuit. I did have to use my last diamond on this, but that's fine. We'll always get more diamonds. And then this thing is going to go ahead and turn them all into processors, of course, doing the redstone and crafting the silicon if we don't have any, so we should no longer have to worry about that stuff for the rest of our lives, and it will be absolutely fan-flipping-tastic. So, the last thing that I want to make here before well, I'm just going to go ahead and just do this real quick, but the last thing that I want to go ahead and make today is a pretty nifty little block that's going to help us out a lot in the long run and make our lives just a little bit easier and a little bit less tedious when it comes to charging things up, and that is the wireless charger from Ender IO. So the wireless charger pretty much does what it says on the tin. It charges things wirelessly. We need a bunch of electric steel, which is iron, pulverized coal, and some silicon. Hopefully we have enough silicon for that. We have 8, which I think might be enough. Let's also go ahead and get rid of just like a ton of this junk that's in our inventory. Don't need you, or really any of you. And I think we're out of inventory space in our Applied Energistics system. That's fine. We'll go ahead and we'll combat that in a second. What else do we need? We need a pulverized coal, which we have in here. And then we needed some iron, which we can go ahead and grab in a second. So boom, boom, and let's just use this because we're lazy. Iron, we'll take some of you, and boom. Nice, that's going to go ahead and make us the electric steel. We then need this guy here, the Ender Resonator, which is made, again, in the Slice and Splice, this time with an Enderman head, a Vibrant Alloy, 2 more silicon, and some Solarium. So, let's go ahead and reprocess that sand in the sag mill. That's going to get us some more silicon, because we are definitely going to need that. And whilst that's making that, there is actually one more thing that I would like to make. And that is this guy over here, the Dark Pressure Plate from Ender.io. It's made by just 2 dark steel, which I think we might actually have from that Wither Cage we made a few episodes back. And I'm just going to go ahead and craft that up with some wool to make it a silent pressure plate, like so. Boom. Is that right? Is it like that? It is. Okay. That gets the Dark Pressure Plate that's silent. We're actually going to go ahead and make a second one of those. And basically, these are kind of cool because if we hover over them, press shift, only activated by players. So, we can put one here, and we can put one here, and this is now silent. The pressure plate's silent. The door's not, which is a bit of a pain, but the pressure plate's silent, and none of the mobs can open this thing. So now, instead of having to right-click the door every time we come in and out, we can just walk around, and then go back in, and it'll automatically close itself behind us, and mobs can't get in, which is pretty nice. This thing should be pretty much done. We'll take those. I think we only needed 7, but 8 is fine. Let's go back to our wireless charger and see what we're missing. So we needed 2 Solarium, which I don't think we have, but we do have soul sand, and we do have gold, so we can go ahead and make some of that. 1, 2, thank you very much. We'll throw both of them in like so. And then we'll go ahead and grab our Enderman head and set up the Slice and Splice. We need to get a few more of those if we're going to want to do anything else. You can go there. The Vibrant Alloy is just iron and Ender Pearls? It's Ender Pearls and an Energetic Alloy, which is made using redstone, glowstone, and gold. Oh, we're so close. So close. Let's see. Glowstone, we have. Gold, we've just put in our alloy smelter. And redstone, we definitely have. Thank you to the quarry for that one. We'll throw you, and the gold that we just used in there. Boom, that's going to get us some of those energetic alloys. We can then turn those into vibrant alloys, and at that point, I think we are pretty much good to go. We just need some silicon, and let's go ahead and make ourselves this octadic capacitor whilst we wait. Oh, it's an octadic capacitor. Okay, I thought that was a basic capacitor, so the octadic capacitor is a bit more of a pain, requiring a lot more of these basic capacitors. So we'll take you, and we'll make just a bunch more golden nuggets, like so. Let's grab, we need a total of 8 of these. I also guess it's a good idea that we're making more of those energetic alloys, because we're going to need those to upgrade this to a tier 2 version. So we'll take just a bunch of those and throw that like that, I guess, and take 2 of those. And then we're going to need some of those vibrant alloys in order to make that a octadic capacitor, which requires 2. So let's let that keep going. That's probably a good idea. Do we have some? We have 1. And we need 3 in total, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we need 1 for this and 2 for the octadic capacitor. That should be fine. We'll throw that in there. Go ahead and grab some ender pearls. I apologize for the weird flickering. It's Optifine. Whenever you install Optifine, the barrels and these conduits flickered weirdly. I might go ahead and get rid of it between episodes because it is kind of bugging me a little bit. We'll throw that in there, and that should get us all of the vibrant. Yeah, vibrant alloys. I get confused with the names of the alloys. There's so many. It's hard to keep track sometimes. But that should get us all the ones that we need. That should be more than enough for the Slice and Splice, Solarium, and some silicon. Boom, boom. Let that start working on that. 1 more of these will get us that octadic capacitor, and then we should be good to go. So basically, this thing does exactly what it says on the tin. It's going to go ahead and wirelessly charge anything. Oh my god, look at that eye. Never noticed that before. Going to go ahead and charge anything within a 24 block radius. I believe only things that use redstone flux, and oh, I thought we were out then, but we're not. We're not out just yet. We do need this guy first though, so boom. And boom! And basically, like I said, anything in a 24 block radius, that includes our wireless terminal and all of our armor. Doesn't include the industrial craft stuff, unfortunately. But if we look at our boots, these things are on 134,000 out of 1 million redstone flux. Throw this guy down and take a look. They're charging up. Look at that. We could be stood like over, let's see, how far can we go? Can we be over here? That's too far away. That's not. We can be stood as far as like this far away. Let's see. Can we get further? Can we keep going? That's too far away. So this is kind of the border. It's not got an infinite range, but it's got a pretty cool range. And if we really wanted to, we could dot a couple of these around our base, and it should still work. We should be able to access it from down here. Look at that. Our stuff is all fully charged up. I absolutely love it. We don't have to worry about charging anything ever again. And with that, guys, I think I'm going to end the episode there. One last thing that I want to do is make an... Oh, we don't have enough conduit binder. Forget it. I'll do it before I save the world. I want to stick another facade right down there. But unfortunately, we don't have enough conduit binder. I don't think we actually have enough sand to make... Oh, wait, we do. Never mind. Ignore me. I'm talking rubbish. I want to make another conduit facade and just quickly fill in that little hole there to make the floor perfect. And with that, we should be good for the world download. So it is episode 30. That does mean it is world download time. I'm going to go ahead and throw all of my stuff. Actually, I'm not, because we don't have any AE space. My goodness. Let's make another one of these real quick, which we should be able to do if we get ourselves some quartz glass, which, again, we should be able to do. Thank you. And, oh, we just have no space at all. We'll put that there, and we'll put you there and there. That gets to the little 1K. Not the best solution in the world. It's like just adding a tiny little bit more space to the system. But I'm going to go ahead and throw everything that's mine into the AE system here. Everything I'm wearing. Don't forget that angel ring, Isaac. Thank you. Throw you in there. And we'll also go ahead and just finish this up. So there will be a link down below to the world download. Just get that and stick it in your world save folder. You can play along with me if you would like for the rest of the season. We've done a pretty good job, I think, of covering a little bit of every single, well, not every single mod, but a little bit of pretty much every mod in the pack so far. You know, we've done Thaumcraft, we've done Blood Magic, Applied Energistics, Industrial Craft, End-of-IO, Thermal Expansion, all Thieves Cards, Big Reactors. We've touched Botania. We've touched a little bit on a bunch of different mods, and I've really done it a different way to how I usually do it. Usually, I'll pick a mod and then do it for like 15 episodes, and then pick a different one and do that for 15 episodes. And this time around, I decided to change it up just a little bit. But now what we're going to do in the next sort of, I guess, 30 episodes is go ahead and get a little bit deeper into all of these mods. There's a bit more Thaumcraft I want to do. There's a bunch more Botania I want to do. We still haven't done anything with those bees. Applied Energistics can go so much deeper than this. Draconic Evolution obviously has stuff we can do. Extra Utilities is still full of surprises. And there is just a ton of stuff left to do. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to hit that like button. It helps me out a ton. And I will see you guys next time.